Liz put him on reserve in the safety unit and then went, nah.
Hey, Brent, I won't talk about Liz's vagina, but just to speak of black vagina in general, there's nothing topping.
I don't blame Liz. The options out here are fat.
Yeah, I just met Hakima more in terms of I can check it. Like, I am a great hire if you don't actually want to deal with diversity, because you can check like a half dozen boxes just by hiring my ass. But I'm not black, and I don't have a vagina. So, like, you have to have a Liz, and then me, and then we cover just about every box. Every box you need, I got you with Liz and I. We, like, a company could hire us and meet all of the quotas, from disability to accessibility to race to gender to orientation to, ethnicity, culture. Like, they're covered. We got it covered. You could hire 2 people and cover like 28 boxes.
Brad, how dare you? Stop stretching my box.
So this is on a different tangent, y'all, but my company started publishing the racial statistics of our employee demographic, and I realized that we had 0.53 Latinos in the company as a percentage. And I was like, damn, I really am the only one here.
Did you ask how they classify you? I always find it interesting how companies classify, because, like, for you, you could fall under a couple boxes, so I'd be curious, like, what they classify you as in their numbers.
They just put Latino, they kept the general, Latino/Hispanic. That's what they asked me what I was, that's what I put. But black employees were 1.7% of the company, and the rest of the company was white. Oh no, there was about 8% Asian. So the rest, yeah. So white people were over 90% of the company, which is why they were publishing these numbers. They're like, if you guys haven't, like, we're really bad with.
Welcome to America.
Well, finance has always been that way. The Asians always take up a huge chunk compared to, like, the population numbers. And let's just be honest, there's not huge droves of Hispanics or black folks that are going into finance on any given year. You go to most universities and look at their business school or their finance or accounting department, it's white people and Asians.
Honestly, mine wasn't even Asian. There was only white people and me. Like, this is almost horrible. But literally, you look around the room, it's a sea of white men and very few women in accounting. So that's another thing too. Also, what else was I gonna say? So I do agree with you, but like they basically put up like this is our stats and this is where our competitors are, and our competitors were like other firms are doing so much better with this, so that now they're trying to like become more aware of like, why do we only hire white men? And it was interesting. It was an interesting conversation.
Now, here's my question. I know you're located in South Florida. Is the company located in South Florida?
No, like, they're located in DC. So you have the Miami Hispanics, and then the rest of the company's white. There's like 15 of us down here. So.
Yeah, sounds like DC.
Because that's always my thing, is when companies publish those numbers, it's like, okay, but where are your offices, right? Because you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh, their legal office is in Los Angeles. Their marketing office is in Miami. But their main corporate office is in bumfuck Alabama. And then you're like, well, okay, now I get why your numbers are what they are, because you ain't getting a Hispanic to move to Alabama.
Oh, hell no. You couldn't pay me enough. No, but I will say, I'll stop talking about my company, but I will say that we're located in like major cities like New York City, Seattle. We have a Los Angeles office. We have a DC office, Chicago office. So like, there's really no excuse for our numbers.
So they're not putting
But you know what it actually made me think? I was like, maybe I need to start looking at other companies with more brown people. Like, I'm for real. It like kind of backfired, because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why are our numbers so bad? But anyways, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, different industries hit differently. We had this problem in the 90s and early 2000s with corporate attorneys. Now, obviously, that's not the field that I work in, but we had a lot of those issues as an industry because you just didn't have the people to pick from. Like, you just didn't. You didn't have large droves of black people who went to top 10 law schools. You didn't have large droves of Hispanics who went to top 10 law schools. And so they had a hard time finding people, even if they wanted to hire them. Whereas now, you see at most major companies, at most major law firms, their diversity indexes pretty much match the diversity indexes of the law schools. Like, if you go and look and see, like, the percentage of top 10 law schools that are black, and then you go look at the percentage of corporate positions that pull out of there, the numbers align pretty well. But it took the last, 25 years to get enough supply to fill that goal, because there weren't enough black attorneys to pick from to get the numbers up. There weren't enough Hispanic attorneys to pick from back then. Now you have no excuse because, there's plenty of people who've gone to decent law schools.
No, and that's true in general. Like, there are gaps, right? But you see the Latino college graduation going up year over year. So I think it'll even itself out down the road. We're just still early enough in this process where, honestly, like, the minorities are going to be the majority by 2050. So this will even out at some point. We're just in the early.
By 2015, we already passed 2015.
2050, Beth, open your ears.
Yeah, 2050. To be honest.
2050.
I mean, my city is already majority minority, but I live in Miami. But other parts of the country will catch up at some.
Let's just mock Beth some more. 2050.
Sorry, that is not what I heard, and I'm talking to my daughter that wants to go out and get her nails done. But anyway.
You should get her some ice cream. Everybody loves ice cream.
I mean, it's okay, Beth. I've told you the black pussy story where, I was telling somebody that they left their new black purse at my house, and my auto predict put black pussy. So sometimes we hear what we hear, Beth.
But sorry, final statement. So this kind of brought to mind that, like, poorly done diversity things can really backfire in a company's retention policies, because until they published this data, I had no idea that we had 0 directors and leadership that were not white in the entire company. So it kind of made me think of, like, oh, okay, maybe it's time to get the fuck out of here.
I mean, but that's a lot of companies as well as like schools, especially in those big areas. If you kind of go there, the schools may say they're diverse, but then when you look at the numbers, it's really skewed most of the time.
Well, and it's industry based. At the end of the day, if you look at finance and accounting programs across the country, they're not the most diverse programs. They're just not in industry fields that you have large droves of minority populations going into. Like, the Jews are overrepresented, the Asians are overrepresented,
there's
and
a lot of
every
Jews.
other minority is underrepresented.
There's not very many Arabs, now that I think about it either. Huh.
No, they're still trading things for goats, Nicholas.
Indians, you know what the Indians did? They were smart enough to realize that accountants don't get paid as much as IT people until they took over IT. And I got to give them a shout out because they work way less and they make more money than us.
Well,
so accountants really don't make as much money as you would think.
I'm going to say, Nicholas, I think it had more to do with they are one flavor of Asian that didn't want to compete with calculator Asians, and so they moved themselves into tech.
Smart, I think that's genius. They're cooperative.
They didn't want to compete with the Chinese and the way they make everything within 2 hours.
Chancey, it's what I just said. What do you think a calculator Asian is, Chancey? God. You have calculator Asians, you have curry Asians, you have jungle Asians. Chancey, get with it. God.
Not the jungle Asians. I know what you mean.
Nicholas's company sounds like an average engineering classroom. She's just a bunch of men, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll have 2 girls.
Chancey, it's not the world's fault that you're like, the black female, almost lesbian Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang. Like, the world can't help you, Chancey.
I wish I had more money, because I actually did.
So there is actually, like, within, like, the financial space, there is actually now, you actually have a point. A lot of these older boomers are near death, and they don't have anyone to pass on their businesses to, like their financial planning businesses or the book of business. So there's a good opportunity right now for younger, like accounting and finance people to like merge into those already established enterprises and take over their clientele, because these people are like near death. You have
They could do what the Japanese do, which is they can hire like some of their employees and then pass it down to them.
They're not doing that. They're selling their shit to young upstarts, chancels.
I know.
All I'm going to say is there's something to be said for nepotism and cronyism. And both of which I have benefited from. Thank you.
Wait, did you say communism and
Cronyism?
Cronyism.
Oh God, I was like, wait, that was a parallel I never heard.
What is with you people not listening? Beth doesn't listen. Miriam doesn't listen. We just got people not listening tonight. Their ears are not turned on.
I'm just saying anyway.
I think that if maybe people slow a little bit down and actually pronounce words.
No, we're not doing that. People get to catch up and improve their hearing.
Beth, English is my second language, Beth, all right? I said 2015.
I mean, English is also my fifth language, and I speak it pretty damn well. So you native speakers, catch the fuck up and turn your ears on.
Not everybody.
You know what, Nicholas?
Wait, what was that?
I was dealing with, Nicholas. I was listening to you and listening to a little, like, demon that I produced in life while I was listening to you, and I did hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm just giving you shit. Please don't take me seriously. I'm just not serious.
She's a spawn from Satan, I'm just going to say.
Everybody needs to treat Nicholas like they're dating him and not take him seriously.
I mean, I wish I had something to argue with that, but you know.
Papi, I need some money.
He only takes me seriously when he wants some dick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nicholas isn't dating anyone who's gonna utter the phrase, "Poppy, give me some money."
But anyways, back to a breeder-friendly conversation. Let's talk about...
Hey, I gave you the title, Nicholas, Older Boomers Near Death, because I died laughing as you said.
I got
all I think about is Biden, I guess.
Oh, I mean, Kamala's about to do that. She's about to take the role from the old man who's about to die. I mean...
Did you hear about all the Democratic governors calling for, they had a Zoom and they're calling for a private meeting with the president himself to hear from him, like,
yeah, all these motherfuckers are trying to have power they don't have. Like, here's the funniest thing. We all warned you, don't make him your motherfucking primary person. And you did. And you said, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. And now you're stuck with him. And now there's all these creative approaches to how do we get rid of the bad choice. You don't. You're stuck with Mr. Magoo because you fucking picked him. In the same way we're stuck with the Orange Emperor. So shut the fuck up and accept what you're stuck with.
4 months is an eternity in politics, and
I'll see you guys in my movie. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.
So you have your bad debate 4 months early. Something will happen in the next month, and they'll move on to the next thing.
Well, they're trying to take advantage. They're trying to take advantage of this little gap to see if they can't nudge him into leaving. He's not leaving, and they have no mechanism to make him leave. He won the primaries. He is the person. He has the delegates. He has the super delegates because the Democrats have that fucked up way of rigging their system. So they have Mr. Magoo. They can hold as many meetings as they want. They can have as many media pundits as they want say the world is ending. They can nudge the entire voter base. But if he doesn't want to leave, he's the candidate. He's the nominee because every single superdelegate is still up his butthole.
But as they should be. I mean, here's the thing. There is no reason for him to leave. And quite frankly, it would be stupid this time. Listen, the adage that, what is it? Republicans fall in line while Democrats fall in love, they're not going to find anybody for Democrats to fall in love with in the next 4 months. That work had to have been done 2 years ago. And all this nonsense about Gavin Newsom or blah, blah, blah. No, it's not going to fucking happen. The base is going to be whoever is going to vote Democrat, they're going to stand behind Biden. And the people who hate Trump are going to stand behind Biden. And if he dies the second day in office, you got Kamala with 4 years to figure out how to get a base and then run her. So that's better than trying to like piecemeal some bullshit together in 4.
They should have done it last September. Actually, they really wanted to.
Well, they should. Bottom line, they shouldn't have run him again, and they did. And the argument can be made all day long. He wasn't this bad because he wasn't, but he wasn't great, and he already showed signs of fucking aging. And so they chose to back their old horse, and it fucking can't finish the race. Sorry, that's what happens when you pick a fucking old horse.
Bren, I know people on the Hill starting year 2 were like within that first year, but really I saw a sharp, verbalization, about people talking about his decline within that second year.
Well, by year 2, they started having conversations internally about who he could back that wasn't his VP for the second, for essentially him being a one-term president, because even then they didn't want to back her, and they decided, no, he's so amazing, we're going to keep old grandpa. Okay, well, you have old grandpa, and your mechanisms in place don't allow you to just fucking call a Hail Mary and kick him out. He's not leaving. His wife is very clearly steering the boat and has decided he's staying in. And so that's who you have. Because their only hope is that he decides to leave. Because there's no game in which you can turn those delegates. The delegates are going to vote the way they're supposed to, and the super delegates are going to back him because they're the party incumbent base that are, the Hillary Clinton era. They're all still going to back him because he is the incumbent candidate. They all know him. And whether or not they think he has a chance to win, to try to oust somebody this late in a weird procedural move or some forced brokered convention where he hasn't said he's leaving would butcher their system in the future. And the whole reason they have superdelegates is to prevent anything funny and hinky from taking something from the incumbent. It's the whole reason they fucking put them in the first place. So the thought that they can get rid of him now is stupid, and maybe they will, and Republicans should do this as well, maybe they will think a little harder next time when they go putting up an ancient motherfucker, because he might look real good until 6 months before it's time, and then his decline is there. Maybe you should have figured out that an 80-year-old might be having some fucking cognitive decline and not put them in again. But at this point, you're stuck with him, so shut the fuck up and run him.
I have a question, man. What would happen if they both croaked the day before the election?
Brokered convention.
RFK would be president.
Well, that's not at all what would happen, but brokered conventions. So what happens is Biden right now has won all the primaries, right? He is the presumptive nominee. If Biden dies tomorrow, there is not enough time to rerun primaries. Nobody has enough delegates to win. So they would have the Democratic convention, and all of the delegates and superdelegates would basically be locked into the conference center and go through however many rounds they needed to nominate people until you started knocking it down to, 2 or 3, and then they would vote until somebody got the majority. The record of brokered convention votes, and I wish Marshall was in here, I want to say it's 107. 107 consecutive votes, and it was the Republican Party that did it last, and it was because a candidate died. And so they did 107 rounds of voting before the delegates figured it out. But it's not Congress, it's not the Senate, it's the delegates for the party from all the states. And those have already been named, right? Remember a few weeks ago, there was a big story because Barron Trump is a Florida delegate. So the delegates would handle any sort of brokered convention. and that would be if either of them died or either of them couldn't do it prior to the race, there would be a brokered convention, and let's say it's after the convention and Biden has the nomination, and we're not quite at the general election yet and he died, they would have to do an emergency convention to nominate somebody forward. So you would end up with somebody that the party decided to throw up there. Now, the parties have different regulations. For Republicans, you have to have held an office, you have to have been a member of the Republican Party for 5 years, and you have to have held a political office on behalf of the Republican Party in the last 10 years. Democrats, I want to say it's as loose leaf as you just have to be a member of the Democratic Party who has held some sort of position. But for Republicans in a brokered convention, you have to have been an elected official who's held a role on behalf of the party to be able to be nominated.
So the people that want to have President Kamala are not going to have President Kamala.
No, I mean, so if he died, so let's say he wins, and this is what's different. If he wins and she's VP and he's sworn into his second term and he dies the next day, she serves out the remainder of his term. So they might get President Kamala, which is why it's a big deal picking VPs for both of them, because they're both old. And the way we do it is we don't call emergency elections on that, right? They become the president. They then nominate a VP, which goes through a confirmation cycle. So Kamala could become president because Biden dies. She could nominate Gavin Newsom to be her vice president. And as long as the confirmation process went through, that would be who the VP was. And so you would have, arguably someone that neither side really elected in both offices.
Yeah, we need to put age limit on these offices. I'm tired of these old farts.
Well, this is why we do. I mean, we do an exhaustive primary system. Think about how much fucking time and money is spent doing these primaries. It's done so that you have a fucking well-selected candidate. Now, we can clearly do them and have awful choices, as we see, but the reason why it's not easy to just replace somebody is because we do a thorough process of deciding who gets to be the fucking nominee.
But I think we all could agree, Brent, that one, Kamala, who can't even figure out her own fucking name, that has lived in the basement of whoever said it the other day, Biden, for the last 4 years or 3.5 years. I don't think I want her as my president. I think at that point, I totally will go to DC. I'll go up to the DMV. I hate that area, but I will. Because she's probably going to get locked up somewhere. I don't know where. And then she's not going to come out. So who do you think is going to be her vice president if she had to get pushed up?
Oh, I zero doubt in my mind she gives it to Gavin Newsom. If he's confirmable, which is what makes the difference. He won't be confirmable if the Republicans take the majority, which means she would have to pick somebody confirmable. But I don't think she goes broadly national. I think for her own benefit, she goes for somebody in California who either will run the next term, because she's not going to run, right? Let's say Biden wins by some miracle. She becomes president. She serves out the rest of his term. She will be a one-term president. There's no way she runs. She had such an awful experience in the primary. She knows she's not electable. So if she gets it, she becomes our first black female and first Asian president. She's a one-termer. So whoever she puts in as VP is probably going to be whoever that party wants to use in the next election. So that would be the thing to watch, would be who do they put behind her so that they can run a semi-incumbent which, I don't happen to think Biden's going to win, so I don't happen to think this is really a problem. But if he did, I think she looks to California to pluck somebody out.
I gotcha. And this is where I say we have to go to local governments, go to your local government, go to your state government, and we need to push. We need to be Americans and push for the fact that we can get younger people in, because we have a whole group of extremely intelligent political people that could be in there as our president, but they can't run because they're not old enough yet. And that is a problem.
Brandon, what do you think of the recent Supreme Court passings that have been going on? How long do you think America's going to really see it?
I don't get what you just asked me, Chancey.
About the Supreme Court passings, pretty much about them overturning and pretty much knocking down the Chevron doctrine.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When it's so funny, the media likes to fearmonger. Everyone I've explained what Chevron did to, and then explained what the court's decision actually does, has gone, oh, well, never mind. Right? So, really simple. What the Chevron decision did was it said, hey, Congress empowers these agencies by creating them. They draw their power from Congress. So Congress creates the EPA and says, hey, we're giving you the power to govern environmental issues for the country, right? So you're that body now. They don't write all of the internal policies for them. They don't write all the internal guidelines or operating procedures. They leave that to the agency. And Chevron said, hey, judges, you're not experts on these things. These agencies are presumably the experts. So we're going to defer to them on what is necessary and reasonable for their policies. And that sounded, okay, cool, that sounds reasonable. Fast forward 20 years later, and each of these agencies are operating like they're emperor of their own little world. They're doing internal tribunals. They're doing internal hearings where people don't have right to counsel. They don't have a right to appeal. They don't have a right to a jury trial. You basically have given them 20 years to do whatever the fuck they want. And so the court has had to look at it and say, yeah, this is not working. This is not acceptable. There's no checks and balances for these administrative agencies anymore. And so we're going to say, yes, Congress empowered you. Yes, you're in charge of the environment, EPA. Yes, you can write your own policies. But people will have the ability to go to court, and a federal judge will be able to review your policies for constitutionality and for arbitrary and capricious nature, which is basically you can't just create an arbitrary policy without a reason, and you have to make sure that it's adequately vested, aka it's fair. And so all this decision does is say, if the EPA creates a new rule and somebody feels like their rights are infringed by the rule, they can go to court and say, hey, my rights are violated. That's pretty fucking reasonable. That's how the rest of our system works. So these administrative agencies have been given so much power that they're going, how are we going to govern if we have to actually be held accountable for the rules we write? Well, appropriately, maybe?
Brian, hey, how you doing? Can you give a little explanation about the executive immunity as well? I've been MIA for a couple of days.
I'll do a quick one. So I'm literally supposed to be leaving at 6, which is 6 now, but I got a couple minutes. So the immunity decision, loose leaf, the court looked at it and said, hey, we all accept broadly that there is the concept of presidential protections and immunity from criminal prosecution and liability for actions that are taken by an official, right? I have judicial immunity, prosecutors have prosecutorial immunity, he has presidential. Trump's attorneys tried to say, hey, this extends to anything I do. If I take a shit, it's a presidential shit. If I watch porn, it's a presidential porn session. And the court said, well, no. The actions that are protected are the ones that are inherent to the furtherance of your duties and your job. Now, there's not a checklist of what is the president's duties, right? So clearly you need a method to determine, are these presidential actions tied to his duties and his oath of office and the requirements of his job, or are these personal duties, and in his case, candidate duties, right? Did you pick up a phone call in furtherance of your actual job of president, or did you pick up the phone and make a call in furtherance of the interests of Donald J. Trump the person or Donald J. Trump the candidate? And the court said that is not inherently protected, right? Your personal actions not hooked to the duties of your job or not. So they made it very clear the federal courts are the entity that is empowered to make that determination. So in the future, if we're 50 years from now and there's a candidate who does something similar to this, the attorney general can charge them, and they're all going to go in front of a district court judge, and the judge is going to vet, were these actions protected by the immunity of your role because they're directly related or in furtherance of your job, or is this your own personal shit that isn't protected? And a federal judge will have the power to make that determination, be the arbiter of fact and determination on that, right? And so now we have a system with clear instructions of how this will be vetted. Now, people are pissed that the court didn't take it upon itself to answer that question. They directed it back to the district court judge and said, hey, now that you have the new system, now that you have the new methodology of how we expect this to be done, go do it, because you're the one who's supposed to do it. We're not supposed to sit here at the top of the court and legislate. We're not supposed to sit here at the top of the court and play trial judge. We have answered the basic thing of, yes, there's presidential immunity, and it exists up until this point. Now, if you need qualification of what is and is not covered, then you go to the district court and you ask them. And you make your arguments to the district court, and they'll do the vetting and they'll do the determining. So people are pissed the court didn't do it itself. I'm thrilled the court didn't do it itself. They created the mechanism and the process, and they said, now go do the process. So it's being taken back down to the original district court judge, where she will follow the guidelines laid down by the high court and make the determination of what is and is not protected by his immunity.
Well, thank you so much. So why would Sotomayor be so upset about it? Based on, that seems very reasonable.
So Sotomayor, and I'm not shocked by this, they did not want to leave it up to the judiciary to make determining factors like this. They wanted something more enumerated, and they wanted a flat answer on Trump to come from the court. So Sotomayor and Kagan felt that, and Ketanji didn't really sign on to this part, but they felt that they should have been the ones making this determination. That putting it back down to the lower courts opens it up for interpretation outside of their own, and they didn't want that process happening. And Ketanji Brown Jackson, in her dissent, that she wrote the majority dissent, she said, you know, the majority is trusting that the judiciary will do this appropriately and do this with integrity, and I hope they're right. Which was essentially a comical thing, because this is a member of the judiciary. So if she doesn't trust the lower courts to be able to do their job, why is she in the judiciary? Right? So they did not like that this is being passed back down. Now, there were pieces that I found interesting that I don't think were necessary. Again, I'm not a high court. The court directed that the intent or motive of a president cannot be inferred or interpreted, which basically means if Donald Trump says, hey, I picked up the phone as a part of my duties and I called the governor of the state of Georgia to talk about their elections. His motive for making the call, they can't look into it. His intent for making the call, they can't look into it. All the judge is going to do is say, hey, is calling a governor to inquire about a state election part of a president's duty? You're going to have a hard time saying it is, because The federal government doesn't run state elections. State election officials do. So there's no reason why, as an official part of his job, he should be contacting state election officials to talk about their elections at all. He should not be putting his foot on the scale, his thumb on the scale. He should not be, that's not part of his job, right? His job is to sit in the big chair and run the big federal things. We empower the states to run their own elections. If there's an issue with their election, they have a governor, they have an attorney general, they have a state assembly, they have a state legislature, they have a state district court, appellate court, Supreme Court. If Georgia's having issues in its elections, there's a whole lot of people whose actual job it is to be concerned with that. It is not the president's job. And if the president is concerned that the state of Georgia's officials are violating federal law, then he is empowered / duty bound to have his attorney general, the lead prosecutor, use the powers of the federal government to go looking. So if Trump honestly thought there was something funny going on in Georgia, he should have called his attorney general in, called the director of the FBI, and said, hey, I am concerned about ABCDEFG. You need to go look and see if there's anything going wrong here. And he would have been perfectly fine, because that is their job. That is their duty, right? And the example I use to make it easy for people, if I issue a order of appearance or a warrant for somebody, right? I issue a bench warrant. I don't then go get in my car, drive to their workplace, and shove them in my trunk, right? Because that's not my duty. My duty is to issue the warrant. It's then sent to federal law enforcement, who then go pick you up at your work because they are duty bound and it's part of their job to go pick you up and bring you to the court, right? I don't get to, from the bench, decide I'm going to do the whole process myself. It's the same thing for the president. He doesn't get to play mafia boss, right? Yes, he has a duty to protect the election cycle if he thinks something's wrong, but what's available to him is his cabinet and his administration. So he gets to go to the attorney general and say, hey, go do your job. He gets to go to the FBI or Homeland Security and say, hey, go do your job. He doesn't get to get on the phone and call state officials.
I appreciate that. May I ask another question?
I was supposed to be on a meeting 8 minutes ago, so I got to run.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
I will be back at about 7 or 7:30, but I got to go, guys.
Then, thank you so much.
Akima, you got this now. Brian, have a great night. I don't think that we can explain this any better than what Bryn just did. But have at it. Try to see if you can explain it better so people can understand.
The end part. I haven't read far.
The crazy thing, he keep explaining it, but like yesterday he explained all these things. And then once he left the room, you had Dr. Responsible and his little crew trying to argue against it. Like I literally had to fucking boom the room because I was so fucking frustrated. Like, y'all just trying to find out ways around it, but like Brian already explained it perfectly well. I just like anything to excuse, try to excuse Trump. They tried. It's just fucking weird. Go ahead.
Thank you. In other rooms, it was explained a little bit differently, and towards the end there, I think he alluded to it. When it comes to a trial, if whatever president, whether it's Trump or a Democratic president, gets accused of doing something and his intent has to be decided, right? There's a ambassadorship. The president says, yeah, you can have it, but you need to pay me for it. Something gray, something that's actually illegal. When that appears in court and he's being tried for it, they're not allowed to charge him as to his intent. So his intent can never really be questioned by the evidence in court. And that's the gray area that Sotomayor went to her office and cried about.
I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, like basically like by being an official act, they're going to ignore the part that he got paid for.
Yes.
And so therefore he has immunity. Yeah, that is a huge problem. I didn't
Because
think about
that gray part cannot be introduced as evidence. So really he has a pass because there's no way to hold him to the intent of the law. And there's too much gray area there.
But I guess it still will boil down to the courts. Like the Supreme Court said, is like the lower courts are going to decide what's an official act or not. So a president can say it's an official act, and the court can disagree. Even though it might appear to be one, the court still can disagree with it. Not saying they will or they won't, but they do have that option. It's not just it's not cut and dry what an official act is, and it's not up to the president to decide it.
And I hope.
So it's still up to the court.
I hope it works that way.
Yeah, I hope so, but who knows though? It's definitely a gray area, and I see it as a problem.
The Sotomayor side feels that there's so much that can fall through in the middle that really the law allows any president to call something his executive privilege, and they can't charge him because that evidence is not admissible in the court under the new law. That's what I want.
But once again, like it's not up to the president to decide though. So that's the part that the courts still have a say so. The president can't just say it. The courts get to decide it. It's still funky, but there is still a check and balance in there. I guess.
I hope so, and maybe the person that explained it earlier was a little more partisan. But I'll double check that. And thank you everyone for putting up with this tedious part.
No, that was a good point, though, David.
Yeah, what I think, Hakima, a lot of people don't understand is that the President of the United States is just a representative for our country, right? To go in. There are many moving parts to what goes on. And he does not have the all say to anything. There are, and I think that Bryn was trying to explain that very well. He doesn't have the end vote on what's going on. He can try, I guess. He can try to push everybody in Congress and the delegates and everybody coming in Senate, but he is just a representative for our country. That is all he is there for, to represent what we respect as the United States of America. That is it. And right now, I'm just going to say it. We look like the weakest country in the world when we are not. We are the strongest country in this world. But what we're doing to our president, which I am not a Democrat, but my heart breaks every time I have to see that man on TV, or they come down here to Florida all the time. And my heart breaks for him because I think he needs to just go and enjoy his life and finish out the last years. But all they're there to be is a representative. Now, did Donald Trump go do that? Yeah, we had very good peace agreements with pretty much all of our allies that now can't stand us. But, hey, Jordan. But, you know, this man, he needs to be able to go to the villages, go enjoy, drive on your golf cart, sit in a hot tub, do whatever you want to do. But I feel bad for him. If he was my dad, I would be battling every day for him.
Hey, Beth, America just might be as weak as you said is not. in a sense, they're like a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And the weakest link right now is the American people. You know what I'm saying? We are so divided. We have allowed the politicians and the media to divide us on so many levels that internally we are weak. Although we have the big bombs and the planes and the aircraft carrier, we have all that. But as a country, the foundation of this country, it is pretty weak. And it's the people's fault for allowing it to get this way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm embarrassed that we look so weak to everybody all over the country, all over the world. We look like America has lost their footing, right? Um, and it is embarrassing. And that's not who we are. We are strong people in America. We come in and we're ready. I mean, we have troops going all over the place to help everybody else. But when are we going to help ourselves and get this country back up to where we need to be?
We won't do it until we realize it's not up to the politician. We all looking for saviors in a politician when it's really up to us. It's the people to make the country strong, not a politician. But until we realize that, then we're going to continue to be weak and like I said, it is embarrassing. What's up, Joshua?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
I think your mic kind of low, Joshua.
Oh, can you can, okay, I'm not having that glitch.
That's better, right? That's
Yeah,
better.
I don't know if it's taking things too far off topic, but I think that local efforts are much more impactful, and I think we're fundamentally in a time of where humans have evolved past the nation state, and we need something different, and we're actually just feeling the pains of that we're resisting that, and we're in localism with global communication is what we're moving toward. We can relate on a large scale without having to control other people on a large scale, and or be controlled on a large scale. And so, yeah, and I agree, it's up to us to make things great. We can't just look to some savior, some politician. And local efforts. I've been learning about so many amazing things that are being done. I just wanted to share about the Strong Towns organization and movement. It's just basically small towns and cities helping other small towns and cities be more innovative, solve problems in a practical way. It's bipartisan, it's constructive, and it's just common sense.
Joshua, I love the fact that you brought that up, because I have been speaking to friends that own big farms in Idaho, and they have friends that went and filled up their crop planes and filled them up with water as their water got turned off, right? They're helping each other. That is what America is about. You help each other. They're like, we're not going to let them lose a whole crop. We're going to go out, we're going to water. And this is potatoes, which I'm pretty sure probably everybody in this room right now eats French fries. Well, they're helping each other. They don't get shown on the news that they're doing this. I know it because I know the folks that own these farms, and they are helping one another to keep the water going, keep their crops going, and That's what America's about.
So, if I may jump in, I don't know, you guys may not be able to hear me because I'm going through
You're good,
hear me? So, a great book on this is reading Robert Reich's book, The System. The Berkeley professor lays out everything you need to know about why the system is failing. And it's really the corporate greed that is the problem. Like, you can't fix anything because the government is ruled by those special interest groups. So I think it's a fascinating read because I've been reading a lot about wealth inequality and power inequality, and it really isn't so much the politicians as much as the corporate, I'll call them fraudsters, who are in a position to really help the United States, and they aren't. And it's really a shame. It's kind of a depressing book in that regard.
Damn, where the stage go? Everyone bailed out, huh? Mr. Autistic, what you doing down there in the audience? How you been?
I only came up because it's you. But I'm good, staying true to myself. You know what I mean? Standing on what I still doing. How you doing?
Good. Good to see. I didn't know you was even down there until I looked around.
I'm here. I am here. How you been? It's been a while though. I don't think I ain't talked to you in a minute though.
Hey, you been hiding from me. You been around Clubhouse starting all this drama and stuff.
I ain't starting nothing. I tell folks to leave me alone. They don't do that, and then they have to learn the hard way. That's all.
You having so much beef, and I don't even see the energy. Like how do people like dislike you? I mean,
Because this is all in their motherfucking head. They want. Look. I've been on Clubhouse long enough. I know how this goes. I know people think they got your tea from your people in your real life. And so what happens? You get motherfuckers who not minding their business and feel some sort of way about some shit they heard, and you can't be out here standing on some shit you heard or think you know about somebody. You ain't got a leg to stand on. So, and I'm not the person. I'm gonna make you stand on that. For real, I'm gonna make you stand on that. You not minding your business. I'm gonna make you stand on that. So that's all.
I don't get to like how people get so personal on social media, especially Clubhouse. When people are like strangers, like how do they let their anger make them like really like make it personal? I just can't fathom that. I would like many racist people I run across, and I dislike them, but I'm never gonna get personal with them. Like there's no point. I don't
Yeah, I don't get that either. Especially when I know those who got a problem with me, I can tell you on I probably barely talked to them in on one hand. This is literally just people having a problem because of something that they heard, so they feel some sort of way. And then you meet them, interact with them, and they got the wrong energy because of something they heard. You got to stand on that. If I know I ain't never did anything to you, I don't care to associate with you, and that's a period, point blank.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. We had
that's as a adult. That's why it's best to mind your business. Hey, you may have that issue with somebody. I've never, you know what I mean. When you come, somebody come tell me something about somebody, Hakima. That's what's up. Thanks for putting me on. Right, I'm gonna sit back and see if it's true, and then decide if I'm gonna deal with that person. But to then, you know what I mean, jump in some shit to have animosity, to have beef with that person. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's insane and childish. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we got going on here. Just you jumped in some shit, and I make you stay over there.
I saw your friend Monica in the audience the other day. She had so many emojis every time you had a slight thing to say that she was funny.
What'd you say? She had what?
She had a lot of emojis going down there when you were speaking, but I know you weren't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. I have not been paying attention for the last 3-4 years.
I had the boomer room last night, Dr. Responsible. It was just so weird. We having a conversation. It wasn't even about race. And he come in, I forgot who he was talking about, but he just called his guy nigga. Not nobody in the room, but he just said nigga. He didn't do the hard ER, but nonetheless, it's where the fuck did that come from?
And you were on the stage.
I was the mod. I was literally the mod, and we was having a conversation. Nothing racial came up, and he just dropped it. yeah, that nigga crazy. I'm like, hold the fuck on. Like, what the fuck?
I
like,
put him down because it was so inappropriate. Jesus
that was
Christ.
weird. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
And he kind of expected us to like just like go with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Like you're not being cool, and you're overreacting because you won't let me disrespect you. Basically, is the vibe.
Like, if a black, in my real life, if a black person that I know or not know use that word, I'm gonna check them immediately. Like, that's just what I do. I mean, they can take it how they want it and go wherever they want to with it. But I don't use the word, and I'm not gonna embrace the word and as a term of endearment of none of that. Not that I haven't in my life, but I've grown up, and therefore I'm not accepting it. I'm definitely not gonna accept it from a fucking known fucking racist to just casually just drop the word in conversation. Like why do you don't have any better words to use than that one? Like what the fuck is like what is wrong with you? Like you don't need to be talking because you have zero respect for me.
But when you talk about like me having problems with all these people, you know, eventually you usually see the side of them that maybe I've already seen, right? So it's not an antisocial on my part or trying to be some like um how can I say, like antisocial or trying to be some type of like standoffish person. I've just seen a certain side of certain people that I'd be cool on. And I told you all the time, I'm not going to disrupt the space, but I'm not going to engage with that person once I've deemed them to be racist or anything like that. So
That's kind of hard to have a real conversation with a person that you like really disagree with, especially on some racist shit. Like,
yeah.
we can disagree on policy and it's cool, but if you're a fucking racist, like we really don't have much to talk about. Like, but me being on Clubhouse, I ignore certain shit because like in real life I would choke you, but I can't do it on here, so I gotta just like say okay.
But just think of the nerve of someone knowing that they're being racist, knowing they're being disrespectful, and they know your presence there, and then also feel at the same time, after knowing how they show up on social media, feel like you have to engage with them, feel like you have to talk to them. And it's like, no, I don't. And I don't even have to correct you. I don't got to get mad about the things. Like, no, but you don't get me at all. And I can make that decision for myself and see somebody be that entitled to think that people have to deal with them after, they've been labeled a racist and people feel some sort of way and people have asked you several times to leave them alone. So it's just weird. But we are living in times where people do want to be victims. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice, and decorum, and that's when they weaponize niceness and all those other things. Yeah, like when I tell you I know, that's when they weaponize all those positive attributes, right? Oh, I'm not yelling, I'm not swearing, I'm not doing any of those things. I just don't understand why this person is acting like that. Essentially gaslighting you because they know exactly why you're acting the way that you're acting, but they want to, make it seem that your response is totally out of, it's not cool, it's unreasonable. Well, that's why when someone says leave them alone, you just do that.
Yeah, you called me at the beginning when you said like a person said I'm trying to be nice. Like, no, be you, motherfucker. Don't try to be nice. I mean, clearly I have seen your other side already, so don't try to be nice now.
Crazy part.
Be yourself.
But the trying to be nice is to make sure that they always look like the person that's trying to be the bigger person. And it's just a form of manipulation. And so, yeah. And then that's when you just got to speak up. But like, hey, I can solve it for both of us. How about we just don't speak? And for some reason, that's just not good enough either. So that's weird.
Nah, they just want the drama in their life. They want the interaction. Like they have no real life in real life, so they need the beef. Like they don't know how to survive without it.
And I know that about a lot of people on here that don't know how to like kind of actually really kind of create content or curate a conversation and stuff like that. They need that extra shit to be relevant, and you know what I mean? They need to be that person that comes across that people just need to them for no reason. They're just mean to me for no reason. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to learn, and I'm just trying to, network with people, and isn't that why we're here to grow?
You sound like Monica.
Baby, you gotta just know what it is.
I be thinking sometimes when you be saying like your last 3 or 4 years, like I don't see how. Well, I guess I do. Like, cause I just ran into you like this year maybe, but like you've been on the app this long. I never seen Monica. Like, there's so many people that like I
When I
see
came
every
up,
day now. I have not seen none of these. I have not I don't know why I was in on Clubhouse, but I've been here for like 4 years and never seen none of you guys and to healthy debates.
Isn't that funny? But Hakima, the weird part is that I have only came up on this stage. This is the most I've came up on stages on Clubhouse in 3 to 4 years. Before I would just stay in the chat, and they would say they would try to say I'm trolling because I'd be correcting some shit that they'd be saying, or I'll say something stupid. But I've never felt the need to really kind of be on stages and do all that back and forth. Like, once you see certain behaviors, like, we can't disagree without you wanting to know all of my family, like, business, like, all my life business. Like, we can't just disagree without that. And just to even, I don't know if you heard the other day when I was in the room, like, people woke up early in the morning to record me and Bryn having a conversation. That is strange. I'm never.
I caught the end of that conversation. I didn't get what actually happened though, but that's fucking weird as hell.
That is weird. You let me know that I'm that important to you. That's crazy. So, yeah, that was crazy. That's how that whole goat situation got brought up, because people had sat in the room when I was having a conversation with Bryn, and Bryn is the one who, like, I'm not telling Bryn how to feel about certain people when they're, whatever. When you have your own experience with people, I'm never going to tell you how to feel about that. So whatever he brings up, that's what he brings up. And so he brought up some things, and Goat's name came up, and a whole bunch of other people's name came up, and they recorded the conversation. They felt like I was being anti-black because I was participating in conversation with Bryn when he was calling whatever Goat went to school for as minstrel show. If I had my own situation with you and I feel disrespected and I feel like you've done things to try to label me in a way that has caused me to have like a sort of negative experience on this app, there's no like weird solidarity when I know other people have had other interactions with you and feel some sort of way. And that doesn't have nothing to do with race. If you're fucked up to me and I'm the same, we in the same race, come on, like what could you want from me? Like, that shit is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's silly. Like, you anti-black because you was in on the conversation with someone, talked about someone else's credentials. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, if you're not proud of your credentials, you probably shouldn't have them. That's pretty weird.
But I'm anti-black, but these same individuals tried to come around certain groups that aren't non-white groups. And what it came across to me is y'all got rejected when y'all tried to be down with them. And now all of a sudden, these are white nationalists, and I shouldn't be talking to them. But when talking to them and around them, it was all good. Like, nah, it don't work like that.
Yeah, I got called the good black, but what's the Haitian guy name? Ish. Yeah, I was the good black. Like, get your dumb ass out of here. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't agree with like nothing hardly no one said. So don't act like I'm some fucking Uncle Tom sucking up to fucking
and that's
try to get to like that shit is just fucking weird. I don't get it.
That's the same thing I think I hold it down pretty well. I think I can counter in conversations and stuff like that. So necessarily think that I've done anything that in terms of like shucking and jiving or any of that. I don't feel the need. Now, if there's a critique, I want to offer a critique on certain type of degeneracy, or even if you're talking about like criminals or anything like that, I'm gonna offer that critique. But I don't have no solidarity with people that I think are just as harmful in my community. So I don't know what that means. So I still, even when it came to Marilyn Mosley's name coming up, I came up to represent for her and hold it down and offer a different way of looking at it. versus trying to dogpile on her and whatever. So I don't know. I just gotta let people just talk, and that's just what it is. Because when you say I'm anti-black and I'm asking you for examples and all those other things, and you don't really have those examples, you're just mad because I'm participating in the conversation. So that's the anti-black for you. But okay.
Yeah, that shit is just stupid. Like, I mean, just because a room that you may be in, listen to a conversation, and they be in the same fucking room. So how the fuck that make you anti-black?
Exactly. But then and that's what fucked up their head because they didn't know. Like the part of the reason why I did not fuck with Goat was because I felt like he was too phony for me. Like, and in the beginning of 3 to 4 years ago, he would have different conversations with different groups of people. I don't like that. So if I'm not liked by the blacks because of my opinions and stuff, that's consistent. It doesn't change because I get around them and I have different talking points. That doesn't change. If they don't like me, they don't like me. But those are the same talking points that show up in healthy debates. And when I'm talking with him, it just was not the same thing. He would make slight about ADOS and all these other things and deny the whole concept behind black jobs and all that other stuff. And I just thought he was just phony. And so when I put it out there, I was like, y'all are trying to hold me accountable and call me anti-black. I said, but these are the same people he was sitting around and keep keying with. So, no, it just does not work like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nuts. Hey, yeah, August almost here, sexy. You'll be in Chicago soon.
I know. I'm still trying to make it happen because my family's thinking about scheduling something. So I really want to come because, yeah, the way this politics, I think it'd be a fun time to be in the city.
Don't try to backtrack. You better get on out here.
I'm trying to make it happen because I really do want to be there. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the best day to come down since I'm really trying to come down. Well, when's y'all start going out, like, on Thursdays and Fridays, like everywhere else?
Oh, yeah, Chicago is like, it's down there party every night, but, like, definitely Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Definitely nothing but shit going on for sure.
Y'all have a lot of live thing. I love live music. I love going out and listening to live music and bands and stuff like that. So.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of that going on. My older brother, he's really into that. So like he know all the spots for the live music.
Yeah, I like that. I just like jazz. I'm a fan. I like that.
You're not old enough to be liking jazz.
You know what it is? I grew up as a Cosby kid, and you knew it was heavily. You know what I mean? It was heavily in Cosby, and I gravitated and wanted. So I love history, and so for me, that's like I study all aspects of history. I'll go down where I want to learn more about musical history. So I'll say like there's times I'd be like, oh, I'm very interested in Black women in music. And so you got me, looking at all types of like old artists and stuff like that and knowing historical things with them. So yeah, I study it all. So most definitely a jazz fan.
When I moved, this is Rich. Hey, thanks for bringing me up. When I moved to Los Angeles, which is like 35, 40 years ago, the mayor was Tom Bradley. And I was friends with an attorney who had founded the Beverly Hills NAACP. And one of his friends was on the board of supervisors. Her name was Yvonne Braithwaite Burke. I mean, the city of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, I guess, was the first black mayor, but he ran that city. He changed the police force. He made it much, much better to live there for everybody. In Los Angeles, most of the African Americans come from Louisiana, or they're superstar musicians, and they live in Baldwin Hills, which is a real exclusive neighborhood in over by the not too far from the airport in Los Angeles. So when I entered the city, I was a farm boy from Iowa. I was just hanging out with all these really, really articulate, intelligent, and influential African Americans in blacks, I guess you say it, in Los Angeles. I was having a great time. I was over at parties at Hancock Park and hanging out and driving around. Jimmy had people were riding him around in a limousine. So I arrived off the farm. I was mowing Blue Rawls' yard for like $900 a month. I was having a great time. This is when I was in my 20s, so I just throwing something out there. What happened to me? Long story short, I got into business in that arena. Learned a lot of finance, and now I'm working in that area.
Working finance in the music industry?
Well, yeah, I worked in the music industry a little bit. Jimmy Kitover was his name. He was a very influential guy. He founded the Beverly Hills. Think of how genius this was. This is back in the 60s and 70s. He managed a lot of big name artists. Marilyn McCoo. He managed Lou Rawls. I mean, I got to hang out with all these people. I met all kinds of famous people because he was my mentor. I essentially got started working for his company as a subsidiary manager of artists. So that was my first job. He had an office in the RCA building, which was, where the RCA studios were. I mean, I just entered Los Angeles right at the top of the food chain. I was hanging out with some really wonderful people. Having a good time, and I was in my 20s, so you can imagine. It was all magic to me because I was a farm boy coming from Iowa.
That sounds amazing. I always say, like, when it comes to, like, when I think about all the different generations, and I said this to my mother the other day, I was like, I just feel like y'all grew up in such a much simpler, just seems happier times. Like, and that's not even to say, like, you could have been poor, and it just seems like it was simpler and happier. And I don't know if that's an ignorant, ignorance is bliss type of thing, because we have so much access to information. So the generation that I felt like I would want to go and be in my 20s, and because I actually really, really do love jazz and live music and all that other stuff. I always pick like the 1930s and 40s. Like, I always pick that era of time. No.
That's a dangerous time, bro.
I know, as blacks, it is a dangerous time to pick, but there's so much going on. Like, I just think of like the Renaissance and all the, I don't know, that just seems like the most funnest era. And then I think
about, you're right, Sexy, because the Cotton Club in New York was the place to go, no matter who you were.
Fact.
I mean, that was in Harlem, and that was the place to go. Everybody, no matter who you were, wanted to go, wanted to get an invite to the Cotton Club, wanted to have a ticket to go there in the 1940s and late 30s. That was the place.
Yeah, I think
that's
a pick. I love the fashion. I love the looks of that time. Yeah.
And I've seen pictures of Billie Holiday's house. She had one of the finest houses in Harlem. I've seen retro pictures of how she lived in a beautiful house. One of the biggest and baddest, nicest houses in Harlem. It's been renovated now. I think it's worth like $4 to $5 million. Her house, Billie Holiday's house. So no, yeah, you are right. That would have been an exciting time to be around.
And so many people don't know the stories behind Billie Holiday, you know what I mean, like Lena Horne and all of them. There's so much to them. Just like women in business, and a lot has happened. Josephine Baker, I mean, they've been, stories of her life, so. But I don't know, I feel like we don't get those good stories like that anymore.
I was looking at the title of the room. Well, you guys, I'm 77, so I am an older boomer. But the truth is that I'm hoping I'm not near death because I'm very much involved in the anti-aging movement. I take every kind of supplement that's available. I'm trying to keep myself healthy and get a lot of sleep and, take care of myself. So I don't want to be going real soon. I'm 1 year older than Ray Kurzweil, and he believes he's already pretty much conquered. He thinks he's stopped aging himself. Ray Kurzweil, that famous scientist. So he believes he's already stopped himself from aging, and that the key to de-aging ourselves is right around the corner. So
what was the motivation behind the room title, Hakima?
That was a joke that Nicholas made about older boomers to Brand. So Brand just made it a topic. It was not a conversation. It was just one joke.
Oh, okay. I said to the boomers the other day, because, I still work with a few, and I was like, I don't know what the workforce is going to do without you guys. Like, I'm actually really in fear. That generation, they were just workhorses. Like, there's just no way of getting around, like, what they did in the labor force, and I just don't see that. I just don't see that anymore.
The thing is that they make fun of Trump and Biden, but the truth is that their age, they know everything. Yeah, they're a little bit doddering, and they may be forgetting a word here and there, but they know everything, and they know where, pardon the expression, they know where all the corpses are buried. They know who the good people are, who the bad people are, and where they are. Yeah, they know it. So I'm not worried about the two of them being older. I really am not. I'm not heavily invested I tend to prefer Biden, but I'm not heavily invested on who will win. I don't know. I really don't know who will win. And I don't care. They only get 4 more years anyway, whoever it is. So it's going to happen as it's going to happen.
Well, I don't even just think about the president when I talk about older people. Like I said, I just think that generation, it's just different now. Like this newer generation is not working overtime. Like they're not working more than what I mean, work life balance and all the other shit. Like it's there's a lot going on. Like with the sensitivity that is out here, so. I just don't think we're just going to get the productivity out of, millennials maybe included in that. I don't think we.
It's really funny to hear people, talk about sensitivity with such a posture, while also looking at the lack of sensitivity that people are shown as they're aging. So, I mean, the things that people used to get away with, bantering back and forth with older people, just being disrespectful, or not even having common courtesy, opening up doors. I mean, do y'all think that people have gotten more sensitive? Like, that's crazy. I mean, Sexy, you don't hear what I'm saying? Like, you really think people have gotten more sensitive?
No, I think that's a different type of sensitive. And I don't even think that's labeled as sensitive because, I don't know, I think you're talking about manners, though. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're talking about manners and a respect.
But it's a lack of sensitivity. Older people move slower. They may not necessarily be,
okay.
Right. Like, they may not necessarily be as up with technology. Sometimes they realize a little bit later that the light turned green. Like, do you really think that people have become inherently more sensitive as a society or less sensitive? Because I'm hearing a lot of, especially over the last how many years, how many elderly people have been the violent, victims of violent robberies and crimes. I mean, shit, like old people and children used to be protected. Like now it's just like throw grandmama from the train.
I think people are more sensitive, but they are at the same time dismissive of old people. Like they don't have patience for old people, but they're more sensitive about themselves and their position in life and the workforce, things like that. But as far as like common courtesy, that shit does not exist anymore.
Yeah,
But
and you know how I am, Hakima. Like, I'm not trying to press y'all, but like, you know, I'm kind of retentive when it comes to like, you know, being very deliberate when we speak about stuff like that, because I just feel like people have become less insensitive, but more personally sensitive, like how you said. So I'm glad that you were able to break that down and explain, you know, kind of where I was coming from with that.
So I gather that Roger and Brandon and all those guys are over in the new chatter. Is that what's going on here?
oh no, Brent had a meeting. He should
Oh,
be
Brandon was
back.
here earlier?
Yeah, if we can hold the room for another hour or two, he will be back, I believe, but he's not in chatter.
He had a meeting or something. I gotcha.
Yeah, he has his weekly thing that he does. But anyways, yeah. But I mean, I don't know, sexy. People ain't shit nowadays. You know this.
I sure do.
All I can say is here in the Midwest, some of the youngins, because they all go to church, are pretty respectful. And they are trained to be respectful of older folks. And they are. I don't know about other places. I know here in the Midwest, because it's still a very church-going area, that the people, you know, they learn to be respecting their elders. That's part of their training when they're kids. So they tend to be pretty good, you know, in this part of the world. I'm talking about the upper Midwest where I am.
I agree with you because I got family. Well, I don't know how much you consider Ohio to be Midwest, but I got family like in Ohio, and so when I do go out there, I do notice that overall people tend to be like a little bit more friendly and respectful. So I don't know if that throughout the Midwest is sort of like that vibe.
That's definitely a Midwest thing. Like I don't want to toot our own horn, but the Midwest, like we are the best people in the country.
It's called the Bible Belt.
And the South too. And the South.
No,
yeah, South too.
The South are horrible people. And I'm gonna say that I will say this one time because the room is small. If I could start back slavery, I would enslave the entire South. I really would. They want to be slaves anyway, and I would just go ahead and fucking do it.
Well, I'm gonna speak on behalf.
I've heard you say anything like that before in life.
I told you the other day that I had a problem with people from the South, especially the men in general. But like I say, I won't say that again. But that's how I feel.
We're gonna have to talk about that privately because I want to explore what that's about. Like that is deep. That is deep. I will say I don't think the South is as friendly as and polite as it used to be. That's what I will say. I think the Midwest most definitely beat.
All right, I'm from the South. I live in North Georgia. I'm from Florida originally. Florida doesn't count. Living up here in North Georgia, I am astounded how much respect children still have for the elderly and adults. I mean, I'm continually amazed, even with teenagers. Where I'm from, I never saw teenagers act like this. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. God bless you. I mean, I've never heard a teenager before living here ever say words like that. I mean, that's like brave. Like where I'm from, that would be like brave. Like that would be weird, actually. But now I see it as actually really cool. But when I first moved here, I thought it was kind of weird. But now I think, wow, teenagers talking like this, that's so amazing. Yeah, no, they're awesome up here. I have to tell you, I've had so many kids get up from their tables with their family, young children, and come and help me pull out my chair when I had my babies when they were younger. Like, I've never seen children behave like that.
Where did you say you were from?
Well, I'm originally from Florida, St. Pete, and now I live in North Georgia, about an hour north of Atlanta.
Is Florida considered the South, like in terms of like part of that?
Nah, Florida's just a fucking. It's just immigrants there, basically. Not immigrants, but like immigrants from America that retired. That's how I see it.
All right.
I don't think Florida is the South.
All right. Why don't you hear from someone who's from Florida? The middle of the state is still very much Floridian. and it's very country. It's got that southern, still has a lot of the southern. The Panhandle, of course, is definitely would be more of the Bible Belt kind of vibe. But past that, I'm not sure we would be considered Bible Belt. The coastlines are going to be more of your, you're going to have more of the people from elsewhere. Okay, but the center is very much. You still hear people speaking with southern accent actually towards the center. You'll have more Florida cracker type. So we are not traditional Bible Belt, though. I don't think we're a part of the Bible Belt, technically.
Okay. Since you're in that part of Georgia, do you think it's that friendly like in Atlanta, though? Because when I made my comment, I'm kind of actually probably referencing more of those like city type of areas that surround. I mean, the cities of like the South and those like kind of surrounding areas, and necessarily. I don't know if I would probably include like more the rural, which you would probably get more nicer, the Southern hospitality.
I still think Atlanta is very much Southern hospitality. I think we still have great hospitality in Atlanta. Occasionally I'll go in there and we'll do a little staycation, and I'm still impressed with how friendly and how great the hospitality is. So I don't have a lot of experience in the Midwest, so I really can't speak to them. I do think that the South still has a lot of Southern hospitality. I went to Columbus, Georgia recently. I was amazed how friendly people were there. Absolutely amazed. The hospitality was just so good in Columbus. Is it Columbus? Yeah, Columbus, South Carolina. Or not Columbus, South Carolina, sorry, Columbus, Georgia. But anyway, I think it's alive and well. People are still pretty friendly in the South, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate Phil.
What is that about? Okay, outside of that, like, did you have just tons of bad experiences that have happened to make you feel this way?
They say I would drop a nuclear bomb on the South if I could.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm gonna act like Iana. Come put your head on my bosom. So come on, come tell me about it. Tell Iana what happened. Let me.
I probably couldn't even pinpoint the actual problem. No real personal experiences that bad things happened to me, but there's a bunch of people I've met from the South, but just the way they think, carry themselves, the shit they say, and just like I just probably painted a broad brush, but yeah, I don't like the people from the South at all.
I mean, you don't like white people.
You know what? I had to come to terms with that in terms of I think I kind of know what you're talking about in terms of you talking about the way they think and whatever, how they carry themselves. I just think every region has something kind of, particular about the way they kind of carry themselves and things. Because just think about New York, the harshness of New York and stuff like that. So, I don't know, even thinking about my city in Boston, there's some mindsets and some things. I'm just like, am I really from here? You know what I mean?
I would definitely put New York as in the South and drop the nuclear bomb as well. I don't really have an opinion about Boston other than I hate the Patriots, so Boston would probably get nuked as well just because of that. But I don't really know the people. But yeah, but New Yorkers in the South, they are bad people. California people, they just like they're not a problem one way or the other. I don't see them as a problem at all. But they more like Free Willy, like whatever. That's how I see California and Arizona. But the South,
but that means they will do it, which means it will get monetized or advertised and everything. Okay.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. Well, they at some point they did have. They gave us the ability to.
Black people, black men and women, are failures at the very essence of life. Meaning,
like, is it at that time though? Like, we have not overcome racism yet?
No,
like, is that the final
not just racism. I mean,
like, let's hypothetically say that I don't know what the meaning of life is. And hypothetically say that most human beings don't know what the meaning of life is. But let's say we struggle with it. Different cultures, Hindus, Taoists, Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, Catholics. Let's say human beings in general struggle with finding a finite value to life. And sometimes we succeed in finding some beautiful things, and sometimes we find some ugly things. I'm saying that no one and no people in the history of all. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know.
You were going to say like
some people say way more. So
yeah.
Anyway, but my point being is I think, I'd gladly pay $5 a month or something, but not everyone can do that. That's another weird thing. It sounds funny, but nowadays, 5 months, $5.
Okay.
So she tried to call me. And I'm telling her,
Hey,
listen, when I'm hosting people, I'm not on my phone. It's not going to happen. You can wait until Tuesday night. They're flying. I will talk with you. So she got mad, and she wanted to return the money that I gave her. I said, whatever. Do whatever the hell you want. I don't know why you're getting upset. Don't call me scammer. I never said that you're a scammer. What the fuck you want for my life?
Wait a
Cannot
minute. Are you
understand
from
women.
Sweden? Are you from Sweden?
No, I'm not. I'm from America.
Hell no. Your tongue is so Swedish, man.
No, I'm not Swedish at all.
Yeah.
Who was
What's your
John
origins?
talking so nasty to? That was crazy. I entered the room and it was like, yeah, I would fuck the shit out of you. Room has now ended. I'm like,
Wait, did that just wait? You said John?
yes,
Oh,
it was
shit.
his voice, and I'm like,
Wait,
what?
wait, just a minute ago? You mean like before you came in here?
Like 2-3 minutes ago, right before his.
Oh, so that was after I left the room. He was talking about the bitch I was arguing with. He was probably trying to comfort her.
Which one?
The black fucking PTR. Like it was just a black square.
PTR with no
the one
name.
with the lips?
Yeah,
the
no
one with the
name.
mustache? Yeah, I was fucking her up. I was like, wait, let me get my grass trimmer. I will trim you, your mustache.
What a weird way to comfort someone.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
Riri, do you love me?
Riri.
Did you ever leave from beside me? 'Cause I want you and I need you.
Really, how are you, my darling? What the heck, Riri? You're not talking?
Riri.
Are you okay?
Okay, Stephanie, I got a Stephanie.
Usually there is no way that Riri is not talking.
She got traumatized from Salah's voice.
Hell
Well,
yeah, I'm a traumatized her ears and her pussy.
Oh. What's your language with Riri?
No, in
You
general.
don't go there. Have respect to Riri.
No,
Because,
I'm respectful.
No, have a lot of respect. This is my adopted child, so
Okay.
leave her alone.
I will go for marriage right away, don't worry.
Salah, watch
Yeah.
yourself.
I am watching myself, but I don't have a mirror.
Well, watch yourself better.
What do you
Have
mean, put a
respect.
what?
She did not say a word to you. Have respect.
I respect her, man.
That's not respect. That's not respect. Shame on you. If I'm going to talk like that on your sister, I wonder how you're going to react. So shut the fuck up.
Yes, exactly. I was speaking in general, stupid dumbass old man.
I think that he likes chicken wings. What do you guys think?
No, I don't like chicken. I like breast. I like boobas.
I think that he likes chicken wings. What do you think, Sahel?
I
like
think that he
boobas,
can
nigga.
suck all of the meat off of a chicken wing in one bite.
In one bite? You want to see if you like it or not?
Yeah. He puts the whole thing in his mouth and just sucks it all off.
I like the breast.
Salah, I'm going to give you a chance before I'm feeding you the chicken wings. Apologize to Riri now.
Nigga, you apologize for her for adopting her. You don't know how to treat.
Salah.
I will Salah your asshole.
First time before the chicken wings. Salah, second time before the chicken wings. Salah, third time. Allah ma'akum zubri warak. I gave him the chance.
Oh.
He ate the chicken wings. He got choked on the bone. I tried. You my witness. I tried. I behaved. I spoke very, very nice.
Well, the trans motherfuckers is gay fucks.
Hey,
Man, y'all should get laid with women, bro.
Wow, Young, why you so upset? He left the woman for you and he wants to fuck men. What is your problem?
Man, y'all should die, bro. Y'all have eaten America.
I'm sorry. Did someone move you down, Fiona, or did you swipe?
No, somebody moved me to the audience.
Who the fuck was that?
It's not me.
I was
I have no problem with Fiona.
It's always that one white
Potato? I said I was going to give Fiona a mod.
This nigga,
you did it by accident.
By the way, guys.
Young, I love the fuck dick.
By the way, guys, if you by mistake swiping left and you're losing your mode, just get out of the app and come back and you're gonna have the mode. Don't swipe the other way.
Actually, let me just love the suck dick.
Of course you do. Oh, Riri, not the toes, please. Please, don't do that for free.
Yeah, do it for ecstasy at least. Like, I heard like it's a Somali.
Is that what you heard?
Yeah, like,
Interesting.
don't
Well,
do it
put
for
the knee
food.
pads on first because that's what Potato forgot to do.
Oh, yeah, kneecaps.
You're wild, Potato. Hugh, can you come up and talk? Because I just always see you around and I just never hear you talking. Oh shit, and oh, that's an interesting quote in your bio. I'll have to ask her about that. Where is that picture? So, Fiona, did you know that Fractal was just visiting Shooky?
Yeah, I know. Yesterday I was in a room and it was him, Shooky.
Oh, well, yeah, there was a room that Dyke was in that had me blocked and I couldn't come in, and that Fractal was in, and then Fractal entered the room for me, but then he never came back. So I haven't actually spoken to him, except a few messages on Instagram.
He will come tonight.
Am I really thinking to myself, do I like feet now because of Riri's VTR? No way.
Don't do that, no.
I don't want to turn to feet, nigga, no.
I can't not believe, Fiona, I can't believe you set me up for that shit in John's room.
What are you talking about?
Like, you were the one that started with that bitch with the fucking black PTR in the no name.
No,
Like,
I just said, who the fuck is this? And you're the one who called to say for her removal of the room. I didn't say I had to tell her to get removed.
No, I didn't say that right away. That took a minute or two before she responded first. But I'm like, who is this? And she just immediately starts going after me. Like, after I'm like, yeah, who is this fucking black, fucking square bitch? And then she starts going at me, and it just went on and on and on. So tedious. It's like, god damn, like, I'm just trying to relax before I go to bed.
I just like suck dick.
Exactly.
Guys,
That's what I kept telling. That's what I kept telling her.
You need to understand that John not going to do nothing to a Muslim girl.
She's not even Muslim, you fucking retard.
She is Muslim.
Who was that bitch? I don't even know who that bitch was.
She
I
is
think that was
Muslim.
I think that was
Bro,
like
she's not
some
Muslim,
fucking like
bro.
Hispanic American bitch. Right? That's what
She
it sounded like to me.
converted to Islam.
Bro, we don't claim her. She's not Muslim, bro.
Well, I mean, no one, even Muslims don't claim you Somalis, so shut up.
That's cap.
That's actually true.
Even Muhammad
Arabs.
called you all raisin heads.
Fuck Arabs, bro.
Yeah, you know what? The grapes are appropriate since Muhammad called you raisin heads.
Hi, Billy.
Billy!
Oh, Billy. I love Billy.
Billy, who moves him down?
Hi guys, what's up?
Hey, Billy.
You left me earlier, Billy.
Billy
No,
is the nicest
You left and
person.
went to Californication.
I was paying a visit.
I was, I was bored enough that I almost went there, but then I remembered that the last time I did, they removed me.
Who?
I don't know, Dren or Mimi or something.
No, nobody.
They thought I was bullying you.
Who is Dren?
What did you say?
Some black guy.
No, he's
Don't
my,
mean that. Jeez, you need
my
more
brother.
information than that. What, Billy? I'm sorry.
Hi, Drake.
Brian is my brother.
Oh. Yeah, he's like your older brother, just like me.
I'm an older girl.
You're older. You're like the great aunt of the family, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck that means.
My sister
It just means like you with some old bag.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that was not ladylike or aunt-like at all, dude.
Oh my god, I know that was so unexpected. I apologize to the room. Oh my god, what's wrong with me?
You know what happened? Nita kicked me out again.
Nita?
Yeah.
Nita's a slut.
Was he invited me up. Then after that, I was out of the room.
I hate Nita. Nita's not a nice
What's
person.
wrong?
She's a slut.
Yeah.
Me versus Clubhouse. Nice.
You're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail. Hands on the wall, hands on the wall. Hands on the wall, hands on the wall. I hate Johnny though. He's such a dirty ass black bitch.
John is black.
No, this guy named Johnny. He's some ghetto ass.
Oh.
I'm sorry, was a man talking? I didn't really hear the piano.
No, I said Johnny, that black ghetto bitch.
Oh yeah, that nigger had me blocked out of that room.
Oh, he did?
I mean, I was gone. Yeah, I mean, I was gone at the grocery store and stuff. But when I got home, like, I had some messages from John and, like, a screenshot of the room and stuff. and he told me like something like amusing was happening, but it was like 30 minutes beforehand. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Then I get on the app after I put the groceries away, and I don't see any room anywhere. And so I message him, and I'm like, oh, is there a room? And of course, I don't get any response for a few minutes. And then all of a sudden, I just get a link to a new room from him without like any like yes, no, there was a room. I just get a link to a new room. So yeah, I think it was that nigger Johnny had me blocked. And so when I messaged him asking if there was a room, instead of like saying that to me or anything, he just ended the room and sent me the link, because then when I came into the new room, Monica was talking about how the room just got ended. And it's like I just don't know why he feels the need to moderate everyone, like to give everyone a green bean, especially when he knows that half of these motherfuckers have like me and you and multiple other people blocked. And then I also sent him like a link and a screenshot to this room, before, like a little while ago when it was larger. But of course he doesn't want to join. He has to be in control of the room.
Oh my god. Fuck negativity.
So tell me.
Oh, Lessa told me she's a slut.
She's a whore.
Fiona, I'm your whore.
Baby.
Fiona, let me suck on those fish lips.
Ew.
Stop that, Satomi, you fucking bitch.
That sounded not right.
Can I have some of those grapes?
Oh.
No! I'm gay! Don't talk to me.
That was the first time I heard you finally admit it. God damn. Praise the Lord. Wallahi. Or alhamdulillah. Whatever the fuck you
I
say.
love femboys.
Yeah.
I'm gay. I'm into men.
I like
Allahu Akbar.
Bro, one thing, my biggest ick is overly erratic women. Like, so.
What's your biggest turn on? Potato. What's your biggest turn on?
Fiona.
Emotionally intellectual man.
Fiona's a fed man.
I want Fiona. Fiona is my favorite femboy.
Well, actually, never mind. Fed men don't have fucking beards.
How do you don't have a beard?
Tell me, how do you feel about the fact that Fiona has a beard?
Yo, Billy, can you take this woman?
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Yeah,
for real?
Fiona
She has a
doesn't have
beard? Oh my god.
Fiona doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, you have a beard. I see that, bitch.
No, you have not. Look,
yeah, you PTR'd like part of it before.
Is it true?
Billy, can you handle
She's a liar.
Billy?
No, I don't want Billy. I want
Yeah,
Fiona.
she's my employee.
Hell to the no.
Not hell to the no.
Oh yeah, you're a lead employee, right?
I'm Fiona's.
She's not the employee. She's a manager.
I want to fuck Fiona.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I just remembered that Billy doesn't know TikTok means. Never mind.
Oh yeah, there's no TikTok in his country. Oh.
Fiona, cut your beard. I don't like that.
No, I don't have a beard. Uncle's a fucking lying asshole.
Yeah, no, don't cut it. Like, do a clean shave, please. Like every single day of your life.
No,
you need to be clean shaven. You should be smooth as a baby's bottom, not like a fucking Brillo pad, okay?
I mean, I don't have any here.
Oh, not at all.
Fiona, I want to give you back shot.
Oh, that's interesting.
Who happened?
What do you mean? I have never gotten back shots from a black.
Fiona is not a whore.
From who then? Using what? Your big giant clit or a dildo?
I'm gonna wear a strap on and fuck that ass.
I'm gonna get out of that.